This is code.org. Let's see what we got here. Deceleration. Oh, are we slowing it down? Make the car slow down to a halt before it goes past the top of the screen. Do this. If the draw loop update in the draw loop update the car's Y velocity so it slows down. That will be the counter pattern, right? And remember, this is what? 400Y, this is 0Y. To slow something down, you would need to subtract, right? Because you would need to add, because to go up, we subtract. If we're at 400 and want to go to 0, well, minus 10, minus 10, minus 10, or whatever to go up. So if we add, if we're at 0, plus 10, we would go down. All right, use a conditional. Don't be scared of that word. That means an if statement. Use an if statement to prevent the car from moving backwards after it stops. We want it to stop. All right, let's start with the counter pattern. Make the Y velocity more downward. Move downward. More down. I think they meant move. All right. So what we need here, we don't have a sprite, we have a car. So car.velocity Y. And then let's do if we need to go down, like I said, this is 400, so we would have to add. So if we want to slow it down, we have to add. And then I want to go do velocity Y again. Car.velocity Y equals car.velocity Y plus, I'm not really sure. If this is negative 15, maybe I'll do 1. Let's take a look. That's way too fast. So maybe 0.5. That's looking pretty good. I'll leave mine there. Now, what is this doing? Well, each time the draw loop runs, which is 30 times a second, it's saying, okay, car.velocity Y has a new value. What is it? Well, it's equal to the old value, which starts at negative 15. Negative 15 plus 0.5 is negative 14.5. So its new value here is negative 14.5. And then we draw the sprite up negative 14.5. Then we hit this, we blank out the background, we draw the road, and we say, oh, another new value for the velocity. What is it? It's the old value, which was negative 14.5 plus 0.5. So now it's negative 14. We redraw the sprite this time up, just negative 14, and keep going. Once it hits 0, it will start adding. It will become, the velocity will be 0.5, then 1, then 1.5. And if it has a positive velocity, if we add to this, if it's 0 up here, 400 down here, if you're adding, it's going to go downward. But we need to make it stop. They said use a conditional, so let's do that. Prevent it from moving backwards. I'm going to use an if. And what do I want to look for? Well, there's a few ways to do this. I could look at where it stops-ish, like the line here. So that might be Y, if the car's Y value is less than 150, but that's not the most efficient way. We need to know if the car is stopped. What would the velocity be? What would the speed be if something's not moving? Well, it would be 0. I'm actually going to use the greater than here. So if the car's velocity, because they don't have equals, they don't have double equals, which is a hint, they want to use greater than. So if the car's Y velocity is greater than what? Car. Well, like I said, if it's positive, if the car's Y velocity is greater than 0, you're moving down. So we do want to add to it because it starts negative 15, but we want it to get to 0 so it doesn't move at all. So if the car's Y velocity is greater than 0, what do we want to do? Heck no, we want to say, too bad, car.velocity is equal to 0. And so an if statement, keep in mind, a conditional only runs if this is true. So if the car's velocity is greater than 0, we drop into this, the new velocity will be 0, and then we draw the sprites. So it can never actually be greater than 0 by the time we draw it, so it will be in the same location once it gets to 0. While it's going up, it keeps moving because we're not at 0 yet, because we're going upwards, we're negative. Once we stop moving, we're at 0, and that's where it stays. Pretty cool. Onward.